people who are involved in professions in which they're dealing with loss and trauma, professionals like doctors and nurses, paramedics, counsellors, chaplains, clergy, they're all at risk of burnout. Spending your life dealing with people who are experiencing very dark times has the potential of flowing over into our own lives. We can get this dust of grief, a layer of dust, a daily layer of dust or dirt from all the terrible stuff we see and hear. I did a video recently on the importance of self-care, but today I wanted to narrow in on a skill I use daily, which is called reframing. Now, the essential idea behind reframing is that the frame through which a person views a situation determines their point of view. Now, when that frame is shifted, the meaning changes, and very often the thinking and the behavior change along with it. So we have an external situation or event, let's say something negative, and I have an internal response like I'm feeling scared as a result. Reframing allows me to change the way I feel about a situation by changing the way I see it. I can't change the external event, but I can change the way I feel about it by changing what it means to me. It's easy to get into the mindset that your outlook is the only way to look at a problem. Reframing teaches you to ask yourself questions like, is there another way to look at this situation, a way in which I can feel positive about it? Let me give you an example of reframing in my own work as a hospital chaplain. My work involves going and visiting patients and ascertaining if they would like to talk with me. At the very start, this made me feel very uncomfortable. It reminded me of certain faith groups that go around knocking on people's door on a Saturday to convince them that their faith is the answer to their needs. I always felt that this approach was very intrusive. It always felt like they were bothering people by turning up at their homes unannounced when they haven't even been requested to. Now I found myself feeling this way when I went out to visit patients in the hospital. You see, in a sense, I was turning up unannounced, unrequested, and putting people on the spot, and they had to make a quick decision as to whether or not they wanted to speak with me, very often before they could be clear about maybe even who I was. Needless to say, going out to the wards with this view, this mindset, was not helpful or effective for me. I couldn't change the fact that I had to visit patients as part of my role. Plus, the realization that many people don't realize they want to speak with someone like me until I arrive at their bedside, and after some initial social chit-chat, open up about something that's really bothering them. What I had to do was reframe the way I was looking at this task. I came to see that I was offering a wonderful gift to people, the opportunity to be really listened to in a non-judgmental and non-anxious manner, and treating them with a level of respect where I didn't simply offer them solutions or fixes which they themselves would discover on their own. A person may not accept my invitation for a visit, but I was still offering them something very precious, which was my complete attention for as long as they needed. They just didn't realize what they were passing up. You see, with this point of view, this reframe, I could go to the wards with a very different mindset. A mindset that had me looking forward to visiting patients instead of wishing I could avoid it. You see, we all have this incredible ability to determine how we think about the world. And those thoughts affect our feelings, which in turn affect our behavior. So instead of feeling almost paralyzed with the thought that I was intruding on people in the hospital, I felt like the times when I had a great present or gift for someone and I couldn't wait to give it to them because I knew they were going to love it. You see, with reframing, I'm not trying to invalidate or deny how I feel. What I'm doing is making an unavoidable task work for me. I can't control my environment or the people in it, but I can control my response to it. If I don't like how I'm thinking about something, I have the ability to change it or focus my attention somewhere else. For me personally, this staves off huge amounts of time that I would waste on a useless activity like worrying. I can't stop thoughts of worrying popping into my head, but it's up to me if I want to sit with those imagined thoughts for any length of time. I can choose to, or I can choose to refocus my attention on another topic. It's up to me. I choose not to focus on imagined tomorrows or events outside of my control. It doesn't work for me. And I achieve this with reframing and the knowledge that I control my own thinking. I mean, if I don't, who does? So the next time you start to feel anxious, depressed, or overwhelmed, especially when you're dealing with people who are suffering loss, try and look at the situation in a slightly different angle. And if you do, you're likely in a much better place emotionally. God bless.